If you happen to be watching us on QSportsTalk.com, you'll see our next guest live and in person. So pleased to be joined by Chris McCullough, who will be in action. You can watch him in up close and personal on Saturday as Boeheim's Army tips this thing off in the TBT 6 o'clock against the Herkimer Originals. Chris, thanks for coming on. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm pretty good.
I see you got your Syracuse University T-shirt on. I know all of Orange Nation loves seeing that.
Football got to represent.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, there you go. How long are you in town for? Did you just get into town? Have you been here working out? Bring us up to date on the summer of Chris McCullough.
I'm not there yet. I'll be leaving my house tonight from Jersey to travel there, so I'll be there about tomorrow morning. I just got back a couple of days, maybe 4 days ago from I was in Libya. I went to Libya for 2 weeks, so I just got back from there. So I'm just excited and ready to get back to Syracuse now.
Would you have ever imagined when you started playing basketball, Chris, that this game would have taken you around the world? You've played overseas and you've played in a lot of different locations, including Indonesia recently. What has your last 10 years been like traveling the globe playing basketball?
Oh man, I never thought I would be in so many places, especially like just being able to see Asia. Basketball took me over. I've been to China, Korea. Like I just said, I was in Libya. I got to go to Turkey. So I've been to so many places. I'm just happy I'm still here doing what I love.
How is the game different overseas? I guess, is it different overseas than it is in America?
Oh, it's definitely different, but it depends where you're playing at. I know Europe is more different, but considered to be next level down from NBA. Australia is also different. Never played in Australia yet, but I got a couple looks from there, so I'm excited about that. But Asia, for the most part, is very different. You got to be a guy who could basically lead your team. Score 30 a night, 50 rebounds a night. So you got to be very active on the offensive, defensive end to help your team win and do what's possible.
All right, now you're getting ready for the TBT. It's an event that you've got some experience in, including when Boeheim's Army won it all a few years back. I'll ask you the same question. How is the basketball in this particular tournament different than playing on a team and playing throughout the season? It's 6 games. It's winner take all. How is this particular style of basketball a little bit different?
Just really, you got a couple guys that come together. It's one goal basically, but we don't have that many practices. We maybe have 2 or 3 practices, and then a little scrimmage against each other. Then we scrimmage against the Syracuse men's team to really get to know each other on the court, and just come together one goal. We all trying to make the money and get the W at the end of the day. So we just got to collectively come together.
How difficult is that, Chris, to only have 2 or 3 practices together? Now, it may help that, there's 6 former Syracuse guys on this team. You're at least familiar with each other. I don't know how much you guys have played together, but how tough is that to come together, literally have 2 or 3 practices, and then go out and try to play a game?
It's very tough, but, we're not the only team that does it. So it really relies on everything on the court, how it is. When we get to Syracuse, we're going to go out for team dinner. We're going to do everything together so we could get familiar with one another and just be on the court so we know each other's games and who takes what shots and, defensive stopper. We just got to have a game plan for everything. But, just really come together for one goal.
We were talking earlier in the week about this tournament, and, it seems like the first couple of games, maybe you guys can get by on talent alone, that, you'll probably be better than the teams you're playing. But as you get deeper in the tournament, everybody's good. What does it come down to? Like, once you get to, like, those last 2 or 3 games, and again, you experienced this when you won it all a few years back. What is, how are these games ultimately decided, I guess, when it gets deep into this tournament?
It really all comes down to who's in the most shape, because once they get down to the Elam ending, with the last 7 through 9, however many points it is, you really got to be in great shape, because back and forth, there's not really a lot of plays. Right? Always with Boeheim's Army, we always have 3 plays that we set we can organize, but it's pick up basketball. So whoever's really got the best team camaraderie, that's the team who pulls it out, and every play matters when it comes to the end of the game. Every play matters.
I mentioned that you're wearing, a Syracuse T-shirt there, and you showed it to a Syracuse football. You were only here a short time, obviously. You're here 1 year, and, that season was cut short by injury. What kind of, I guess, relationships do you still have with the folks here in Syracuse? Do you still keep in touch with former teammates? And I guess, can you talk about your time here a little bit?
Yeah, my time there wasn't very long, but when I was in high school, I was coming up to Syracuse a lot. So I was visiting the school. I kind of knew the whole school. By the time I was a freshman, I knew upperclassmen, lowerclassmen. So I was a very popular guy on campus, and I still keep in touch with everybody I went to school with, everybody from my freshman class, everybody that lived near me on campus, everybody I came in touch with on campus. I still keep in touch via Instagram, text. Most of the players, BJ, Ron, Akeem, even Malachi, Elijah, I keep in contact with, even though I didn't play with these guys, but it's just like a family bond.
I want to ask you about that, because they say that it's, they talk about the Cuse family and that it's a brotherhood. And, we just saw Carmelo Anthony come back and speak at graduation. Same thing. He was here for 1 year. It was a short time. He had a great year. He moved on, but he's remained close with Syracuse University. So when we hear that, Chris, that it's that there's a Syracuse family, it sounds like that's a real thing. Can you speak to that a little bit?
It's very real thing. It feels like a fraternity almost. Even when I was a freshman and we got to do Orange Madness and we got to meet like all the older players and the legends that went there before us. It's feel like a brotherhood. It really is a brotherhood. Even after you leave Syracuse, a lot of guys in New York City, a lot of guys have businesses in New York City. So I always familiarize myself with everybody and get to know everybody. And even going to these games sometimes, when they play in Madison Square Garden or Barclays Center, if I'm home, I always go to the games, and you run into a lot of old players, and it's a good feeling seeing everybody. Everybody remembers you.
You're chasing $1 million. Is it fair to say, though, that this is about more than the money? Like the opportunity to come back and potentially play 3 games in Syracuse in front of Syracuse fans and with former Syracuse players. Is that you play basketball for a living. Is this thing a little bit extra special to you because of the ties to this area?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely dope. We have home court advantage, so that should give us a little edge. We got our first 3 games in Syracuse, so I hope all the fans come out and cheer us on. And, once we get down to the last 2-3 games, as you said, it get harder. But, Syracuse fans travel, so I'm not even worried about us not having fans at games because they travel wherever we are. And, we trying to get the money for real.
Chris, you talked about the players. How was your relationship with the coaches? We were talking yesterday. Coach Boeheim had some classic press conference quotes about you when you were here, and how did that go over for you? And what is your relationship with the coach?
I still keep my relationship with all the coaches that was there. Coach Boeheim, Coach Red, all the press conference. I don't even remember all the press conference things. It was so long ago. But the media they started making a lot of different articles, putting different articles out. And Boeheim at once thought I was reading into that, feeding into that, which I really wasn't. So, but I didn't really let it bother me. Continue to play basketball, and that was it.
Chris, you're 30 years old now. You've been doing this for a while. You've been playing pro ball for a decade plus. How long do you plan on playing for? Do you feel like you still got several more years in you?
I at least want to go another 4 to 5 years, and then after that, probably hang it up. My kid's getting older. My son is 10 now, so by the time I'm done here, be 15. I can focus on him straight in high school. My daughter's getting older, so I got about another 4 or 5 years, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, fans around here are very much looking forward to seeing you on Saturday and hopefully for 3 games here at OCC. Paulie and I will be on the call. We're looking forward to seeing you over there on Saturday. Chris, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it. Best of luck this summer.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Chris McCullough joining us here on the show. And with that, we'll take a time out. 315-437-7644 is the number if you'd like to get involved. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next on ESPN Radio.